Ava Knight joins me, recent competitor as part of the Power Slap Combine. How you doing today, and how do you feel after the camp wrapped up?
I'm doing great. I thought the camp was fun. I had a good time, and it was just a new experience. And seeing all the people trying to do the same thing as me is kind of cool.
Absolutely. You come in with a great resume in combat sports, not only in boxing, but as well as MMA. Can you give for people kind of like a 40 to 60-second rundown of your competition history?
I started boxing at 13 years old as a kid. Had a little good amateur fights. Turned pro early. At that time, the Olympics didn't involve female boxing, and became a world champion in my early 20s, and just kept fighting and became one of the top competitors in the world, pound for pound. And I absolutely loved it. I love boxing. I still love boxing, and as time went by, it became harder and harder to get through with it without all the politics. So I jumped into MMA and had a good time. It was fun. It was hard. One of the hardest things I've probably done. And I came out with a 1-1 record. Got choked out the last one, but I had a good time doing it, and it was fun and competitive, and I'm looking forward to seeing where Slap can take me.
Awesome. I mean, you seem like somebody who's up for anything, and obviously coming over to Power Slap is something, that isn't mainstream in most either boxing or MMA gyms that you'd find throughout the United States. So why Power Slap now, and what's motivating you to compete?
You know, when it comes to combat sports, politics is such a big deal. Social media is such a big deal, and I feel like it's gotten people away from like where they want to be in the sport, or any sport in combat sports is your heart. And I just have such a competitive heart that I get tired of the politics and trying to please everybody. I just want to do something that I know that I can be really good at and be competitive.
Mhm. Amazing. Just comparing, I guess, your boxing training to, some of the stuff you've done with Power Slap. Obviously there's going to be correlations, but there's also going to be some, inherent, movements that you learned in boxing that you can't do in Power Slap. Obviously the rotation of the feet. Can you talk about kind of the similarities and the differences between throwing a slap and say throwing like a right hook per se?
I think it's a big difference because it's completely not a hook. But I do think that the muscles that you use to throw them are almost the same. So I think it goes with using those same muscles differently and in a different way with your arm worked out fine. Like for me, obviously, I was pivoting way too much, but once I got it down, I had myself a little pigeon toe and turned
Yeah.
over that shoulder, and I felt like it was good and it was powerful and strong. And I actually liked it. I didn't think it was too bad, but the next day I did come out, my whole shoulder was sore.
That's awesome. Getting to train with like Robert Trujillo, Anthony Blackburn, Wolverine. What was it like training with those champions?
They just look like monsters. They're really nice. Don't get me wrong. They seemed really sweet and very helpful. But you know that inside, when you see someone like that, or a fighter, or someone who has a little bit of crazy in them, you kind of spot it in them. So, but it was really good to be around them. They're obviously very competitive. They like what they do, and they're enjoying it. And that's what the best. Being around them is good vibes.
Awesome. I'm not sure if you have a contract yet or not. I know they're trying to fill out the women's division, so I'm sure you'll get one relatively quickly here. But what are you going to do from now until then, until Erica calls you? What's your training regimen going to look like?
It's gonna be the same. I'm still gonna be doing my boxing training. I'm gonna be doing everything I do to stay in shape. I think I'll probably do some more bands that have to do with that slapping movement. But I don't think anything's really gonna change. I felt strong. I feel like I'm good at what I do already with the way that I train and the way that I performed. I felt like I hit that power slap harder than any girl that day. So I strength wise, I feel great. I think everything should be the same. And Trujillo said the same thing. He said he doesn't do no slapping before a week before his actual uh slap fight, I guess you call it. But
Yeah.
I think that I think I'm good to go. I really like it, and I think just few little changes, and that's it.
Amazing. Do you remember what your score was on the Power Cube?
I believe it might have been either 25 or 26. I don't know if it's thousand or 100, but
Yeah.
and I
Yep,
felt like that's pretty good.
absolutely it is. What weight class are you planning to compete in Power Slap?
I boxed at 112 all the way up to
Okay,
118, and I did MMA at 115. So I think that either 115 or 125, depending on where they have more girls or where the better competition is.
awesome. Outside of training, outside of sports, what do you do to keep busy?
I'm a full-time stay-at-home mom. I love my babies. I have two little babies, and I mean, I'm always cooking, cleaning, doing the basics, and I actually just love being around them and seeing how like excited little kids are about everything in life, and it just makes me enjoy life more.
Awesome, amazing. One last one for me. Where can people follow you on social so they can follow your career in slap fighting?
I only have an Instagram. I'm not big on Twitter or X anymore. So it's just Ava Knight on Instagram with dots between the first name.
Amazing. Thank you very much. Appreciate you joining me. Look forward to following your progress.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Take care.